Okay, again, second try. We have the next speech coming up. Very, very special guest. Tai finally made it to Cannes. I'm super excited because Tai is actually one of the first mentors of mine. And I would say, the person that I've learned the most from is him when it comes to not just business, but also when it comes to life. And I was in LA with him on an event like 2 weeks ago, and he did a talk on getting rich versus getting wealthy. I thought it's pretty interesting, also for like advanced entrepreneurs. And I'm super excited. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. All right. How's everybody doing? Who's growing their personal brand? Old school vlogs are back in style again. Like I'm vlogging again. I would say I vlogged from like 2014 to about 2019, like every day, like 200 Snapchats and stuff. Then I kind of took a break, but it's back strong again. So who here is doing a weekly vlog of your life, just behind the scenes? Anybody?
On Instagram or YouTube?
You can put it anywhere. Yo, what's up, man? How are you? All the way from Finland. I last saw you in Finland, Max. A lot of familiar faces, some people I don't know. If I don't know you, thanks for waiting. I left Los Angeles 12 o'clock prompt, just like a German. I was 3 hours early at the airport, and my flight took off great. And right when I was landing in London at 9 in the morning yesterday, flight canceled. So I go there and I'm like, oh, I'll just take another, there must be a lot of flights to France. They're like, we have none. So then I went to customer support. She's like, oh, I found one at 9 at night. So I was like, okay, I'll sit here. I said, do you have a first class lounge? She said, yeah, you can go sit there so I sat there for 12 hours. I did 2 business plans. I never care if I'm delayed, but I wanted to get here. So I wrote out 2 business plans. By the way, old school business plans are still good to do. I'll talk about that more tomorrow. And then at 9 at night, 20 minutes before the flight, they canceled it again. So I was like, I think I got to take a private jet here, or else I'm not going to get. Oh, then the lady said, don't worry, we have you booked on a flight Saturday tonight at 8 p.m. You'll get in at, I said, British Airways, you already fucked me over twice. So I said, just give me my luggage. And she goes, oh, well, we already checked it for tomorrow's flight. I'm like, okay, give it back. So I went downstairs in Heathrow, 1.5 hours, waited for the bags. They said, oh, they'll send them out. Didn't come. So I walked back to the lady. I'm like, she goes, oh, I tracked. Your tags are still in the back warehouse. So I said, can you bring them? She said, no problem. One comes after an hour. I kept waiting. I was like, they must have lost my other bag. I walked back. The lady goes, oh, the other lady only put in for one of your 2 bags. So at 11 at night, I went to my friend Jeremy's house, who lives in London. And then this morning, we were going to fly here. 11 a.m. private jet, and they're like, too much fog. The jet's still in Paris. So I'm glad I'm here. The main moral of the story is, when you don't have anything to do, take a Google Sheet and write out a business plan. It's way better than you think. So here's the thing about business plans. They never actually turn, like if you make a plan for a business, it'll never be that way. You can't predict 3 years ahead. But I was working on a clothing brand business model. And what I mainly took away, I made a very dynamic spreadsheet. By the way, almost no humans know. I've only met 2 people in my life that know how to use Excel correctly. One was an engineer business partner of mine, and another one was a PhD. So if you don't know how to use Excel, take a class, because there's very complex things you can do on it. So I tried to have some of my team build a plan, but they don't do it up to my standards. So I did it myself. And a clothing line, basically, if you can get 2.8 ROAS, you'll get rich. If you get 2.5, you'll barely make any money. It's a very clothing brands, because you have a physical product. Anyway, also if your refund rate goes to 20%, hard to stay in business. If you can keep the refund rate at about 15%, you can get rich. So certain businesses, I like to have a Google Sheet, and I can find, what you can do with a business plan is find the 1 or 2 dynamic KPIs that you have to get right. It's very surprising which one it is. And I was also doing it for a social club. Anybody see Soho House? Do you know what Soho House? Do they have it in Dubai? It's valued at $1.2 billion right now. It's a pretty genius idea. You buy restaurants and hotels, which usually don't make that much money. You put a members only club, and then all of a sudden people really want to go to your place. And so I'm going to do one, but the minimum to be in the club is much higher. Soho House, you only have to have 2 friends recommend and $1,000 a year. Mine's going to be like 10 to 25,000 a year, and you have to be a verified, accredited investor. In America, that means you have at least $1 million. So social clubs are back in style. Vlogs are back in style. Social clubs are back in style. These are great business models. If I was in Dubai, I'd start a social club, man. They have a social club in Dubai that you know of? What's it called?
It's in London too, I think.
Arts Club?
Yeah.
Well, and are they doing well? Yeah. Remember, wherever there's a McDonald's, there should be a Burger King. There should be a Kentucky Fried Chicken. It proves the model for you. A lot of people get confused. They're like, oh, there already is one in Dubai. The fact that there's one means there could probably be 10. And you actually make more money when somebody else did the first social club because they spent all the money on branding and awareness videos. And then when you open yours, a lot of people get confused and they're like, oh, I saw an ad about that, and they join your club. McDonald's spends all this money on advertising, and a lot of the benefit goes to Burger King. Because they're like showing hamburger ads all the time, and people are like, oh, next time I'm hungry and only have $10, I'm gonna fucking go to McDonald's. But there's no McDonald's there, they just turn into Burger King. So, all right, what I'm gonna talk about, I've got my notes for today, which is, Nicholas wanted me to talk about, should you try to get, oh good, I got my marker here. So here's kind of a rule of thumb. Rich is like $1 to $10 million. I'm gonna use, you could use euros, I guess. I'll use dollars. 1 to 10 million is what I consider rich. And then it's a gray area. It depends which country. In Switzerland, you're wealthy, so that's rich. In Switzerland, wealthy is 125 million in their private bank. So if you have 125 million cash, that's kind of, so let's say 125 million to 1 billion. I did a house party last month, 2 weeks ago. I got a new place in Beverly Hills, and I did a house party, and a woman came, her and her husband just sold their company to Apple for 1.4 billion cash. Made a lot of money. This lady made a lot of money. I can tell when people bullshit and not. I had the backyard of my pool, and I said, I'm doing a charity. All the money that I sold VIP tables in my backyard. I had like 6 of them. And I said, all the money profit from this goes to a charity. So she bought an $80,000 table, like, blip, and then she brought her art dealer, who told me she just bought $7 million in art for one of her new houses from him. He's like, oh, this is one of my best clients. She just bought $7 million. She's wealthy. Okay, I think her and her husband have, I don't know what they paid in taxes, but let's say 900 million in cash. In Beverly Hills where I live, even 125 is not that rich, not wealthy. I have my next door neighbor. One is Tom Cruise, on Snapchat, somebody goes, hey, you know how Snapchat shows you your location? They're like, Tom Cruise is your neighbor. I didn't even know that till my party. But my other neighbor across the street, he sold his clothing line, Bizu Bizu, for $600 million to JCPenney like 15 years ago. He's a guy from Morocco, moved to LA, and now he owns like 10% of Beverly Hills. So he probably has another 500 million in real estate. So to him, you're rich, have 125 million, but not wealthy. But for most of the world, rich, some countries maybe up to 20 million net worth. So the question is, by the way, I have the most interesting question came to me in the middle of the night the other day. You'll be the first people I ever ask it. Oh yes, okay. I've been trying to figure out how to ask a group of people this. I'm very excited. By the way, you'll know you're in your best when you wake up. Who here wakes up in the middle of the night with business ideas? Okay, that's the focus people. Who here never does? You ain't focused enough. Or shower. Who gets good ideas in the shower? Okay. I was going to say, you got two places. In the middle of the night or water. Because I think we're so ADD from social media that when you're in the shower, you can't be doing anything else. It's very Zen meditation. So here's my idea. I'm going to ask you all. It's actually a crazy question. Okay, everybody here. I need to buy a 6. You know what dice is? Like you throw dice for gambling? Okay, you know one dice has 6 sides on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going to pretend I have dice here. I throw the dice on the ground. I'm going to ask you this all tomorrow. So answer today because I think your answer might even change tomorrow. I throw the dice on the ground. If it lands on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I wire you 10 million US dollars. After tax, no taxes. Okay? Then I ask you, what's your name?
Roswan.
Roswan?
Yeah, you can say Ros.
Roz, okay. Roz. Do you want me to roll the dice again? If I roll it again, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get another 10 million. But if a 6 comes up, you give me everything. I get it all back.
You already rolled it once, right?
You rolled one time.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to roll once.
Yeah.
I wire you 10 million. Right then, I literally, crypto is fast. I'm like, 10 million. Once it receives into your Coinbase or whatever Binance account you use, I go, okay, do you want me to roll again?
I would not roll.
Okay, you would not roll. Okay? I want you to think about this for tomorrow. Who would definitely roll again? You get another 10. But you have a 1 in 6 chance of going back to 0. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so you don't get everything in Ireland when you just get all the money back again?
Right, just the 10 mil. I don't take your house. You're going again. Okay. But I like that idea, Phil. How are you, by the way? I could say, okay, for Phil, I got a special game. Same with you. I got a special game for you. I send 100 million every time. Okay? But if it goes to 6, you give me every fucking thing you own back, and you're now bankrupt at 0. Not bankrupt, you have 0 assets. I let you keep your shirt, your shoes, and your wife or girlfriend. Do you roll one more time? Yeah. Probably not.
I would go.
You roll. Okay. It's a very interesting question. You can just change, wherever you're at in life, change the number. If you're already super rich, you can do 1 billion. Okay. 1 billion's wired to me. I roll again and I can get another billion. So who would stop if the number was 1 billion? You would not roll again. Raise your hand. You would. I wire you 1 billion, and I go. You want to roll again and you'll get another billion. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but if it's 6, I get the billion back.
I'll take the billion.
Would anybody roll besides Phil after 1 billion? Anybody? Maybe you? What's your name? Siobhan. By the way, okay, 1, 2. Genetics play a huge part in this question. What are your parents like?
Family business.
Family business, entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
Where were they born?
South Africa.
They live in South Africa now?
Yeah.
Is their family immigrants?
Yeah.
Immigrants have much higher testosterone in general. A famous scientist told me, that's not my opinion. Dr. David Buss did a whole one of his books on the genetics of immigrants. So I have immigrant mom, I have immigrants, my grandma and my grandpa and grandma, like 4 of my grandparents, 3 are immigrants. Who here has immigrant parents? Huh? But the genetics of greed, ambition, what's called satisficing versus maximizing. So those of you who said no, yes, you would roll again, you're a maximizer. You're always like, I gotta push the maximum. The person that said, you said 10 million, you're done. So you're okay being rich.
I just thought it was an easy 10 million.
Yeah. But let me make it harder for you. Whatever you have, I send you. You can never work again to make money. So I'm gonna make it harder.
Yeah, I would not have done that. I would not just take the money.
So you would roll again. You would roll again.
I would take the opportunity to work again.
No, but I'm saying hypothetical. This is all make believe. Make believe. I give you the 10 million. I say, if you don't roll, that's it for life. You can live off you can invest it. You can live. So you'd roll again. Okay. So let's say odds are, it's 1 in 6 chance. Odds are 5 in 6 chance you get another 10. So now you have 20 million. Do you stop?
No, I would not stop until $1 billion if I don't get to work.
To $1 billion?
Yes.
Okay, so you should be sitting next to Phil.
I just want to make $1 billion, so whatever you can get me there.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Let me change the subject now. I'm gonna do more in depth on this because I think that one of the most powerful things that people do wrong, they don't really know themselves. And maybe you don't know yourself. If you don't mind, I don't want to embarrass you, but let me just ask you a question. You said you'll stop at 1 billion. Okay, to me that's not logical, right? Numbers are all man-made. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It doesn't exist. Other cultures had different calendars. The Romans had a different calendar. Native Americans didn't even fucking have calendars. They just said the new moon or this kind of thing. So you're picking arbitrary numbers, not based in any logic. Why 1 billion? Are you telling me if I wired you 999 million, you would be pissed?
No, I wouldn't.
But why'd you say billion?
I just thought we go in 10 million increments.
Yeah, but I'm saying why billion? You wouldn't stop at 990 million? You would roll again? Think about it. There's 999 million, and you're gonna take a 1 in 6 chance and go back to
I
zero?
think it depends on the situation. You are right. Probably.
That's why you have to think about it for tomorrow. That's why this is your homework, okay? If you want to do this, because I'm telling you, the most important thoughts in life can't be thought through instantaneously. You should know yourself. I'm gonna tell you why. There's a guy that I know. I'm helping him sell his business. He is the best rags to riches store. I have a private mentor program. People pay me $100,000, and I have $1 million program. People pay me $1 million. This guy's at my $100K. I'm helping. He was going to sell his real estate company for $100 million. I helped him negotiate $148 million. Okay. Now, he was born in Africa. He doesn't know how old he is. It's super interesting. I'm like, hey, how old are you? He's like, I have no idea. My dad had like 20 wives, and I was like literally born in the jungle. And he ended up coming to America, and he has one of the biggest real estate businesses in the city where he lives. And I asked him, he thinks he's in his 50s. He looks like he's probably like 51. I said, if you could start all over, be 27 years old, sell the company for 20 mil, not keep going to 150 million now, would you stop? He's like, fuck yeah, I would. He's like, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. Another man who said this is the richest man in modern history. John D. Rockefeller made $600 billion. There's a great book. Who's read Titan? Read it again. If you haven't read Titan, if you've read Titan, you need to read the Vanderbilt book. This book right here. He said when he was like in his 50s, all his hair fell out of his eyelashes, eyebrows. He said, all the stress I've gone through my money hasn't compensated me for it. He was like, it was a mistake. Now, Carnegie, once he made about $30 million, he said, I'll never work more than 3 hours a day. And he did, never work more than 3 hours a day. And he ended up worth $400 billion. So he did not pursue money so much, but he was good at making money. So I think some people end up being Rockefeller, but they would be happy to just be Carnegie, you know? Who here would rather be Carnegie? Me for sure. So an important question is, when do you stop making money your primary focus? And you should have a logical number. Trust me, whenever I talk to somebody and they have a round number, I know they haven't thought it through. One of my mentors is an expert at buying businesses. He was a lawyer for Carl Icahn. I don't know if you know who Carl Icahn is. He's one of the biggest corporate raiders. And when I was buying business, when I buy business, he told me, Tai, never bring a round number. I bought a company in America in I closed in July 2020 during COVID, and I paid $31 million. But my first offer was $20,100,000. Because he told me, if you bring a round number, they'll know you're an amateur and you didn't think it through with calculations. So when somebody tells me I want to be worth $1 billion, I'm like, you haven't thought it through. It's not logical. What you should do is figure out how much you want to be paid every month. So how much you want to be paid per month, and then you'd stop working. Wired into your bank account. How much do you need a month?
I just want the billionaire status.
Okay, but then why stop at 1 billion? Now you don't even get on the Forbes list as much at 1 billion. You know that the Forbes list 400 in I think it really became popular in like 1984. You only need 300 million and you are on there. Inflation. To be on the Forbes 400, I don't think you can, let me ask. Chat GPT, hold on, let me ask. Can you be on the Forbes 400 if you only have 1 billion cash? I mean, 1 billion net worth?
1 billion cash a week.
No. The global one I'm talking about. Hold on. I don't think you're on it anymore at 1 billion. Yeah, you'd be in the American one, but not the global one. I have 2 mentors on the Forbes list. One of them I was in business with a guy, I own bodybuilding.com, and he's barely on there, and he's like 2 billion. His name, like, your name fall off. So you just want the status?
Yes.
Okay, but why? Let me ask you a question.
I haven't found something that I think, which I haven't thought through very much, would bring me just more joy, like the bill.
Okay, but let me challenge you. So there's a fact. It's a public record. I'll put it in. How much do you think Mark Zuckerberg spent on security last year? Mark Zuckerberg security cost per year. Who knows? Last it was he spent 43 million in the last 3 years. So he spends about 14 million a year. You know what that means? That means if you have children, you know why you have to spend that much? Kidnapping. You're getting letters saying we're kidnapping your kids. They're using AI voices. We have your kid kidnapped. You have to have dudes with guns with your kids. Your 6-year-old has to go to school with a guy sitting in the background. Why you want that? That's not status anymore. That's handcuffs. Dude, all the rich, you wanted to be rich and famous in the 70s. I go to this party once a year. You know Arnold Schwarzenegger? You know, he has a birthday party. He has like a charity poker thing. It's pretty cool. You go there, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger knows everybody. He has a cool house. It's kind of like this kind of house. He has donkey in the background. I interviewed him and he smokes cigars in his kitchen, which I thought was insane. Jeremy, you would like that. I'm like, are we around food? He's like blowing food all over his bread and stuff. But you know who Sylvester Stallone is? Yeah. So Sylvester Stallone came. They used to be enemies. Now they're friends. And I was in a little group. We were talking and I was listening. And his agent was there. And when Sylvester Stallone left, he was standing next to me. He goes, Tai, you don't understand. In the 1970s, when Rocky came out, Sylvester Stallone was so big of a celebrity that to go out in Hollywood, we cleared the whole block. But he said in the 70s, it was fun because there was no cameras really. There wasn't everybody on camera. So he's like, he could go to a club, he could have da-da-da-da. He's like, now being famous is... So I don't think you get that. Who has the most status in the world? Does that show on a laptop or no? Yeah. I can do it tomorrow. It's not connected now, is it? No, it's connected. Put in Leonardo DiCaprio, Jeff Bezos' girlfriend. I just want you to say I want to look at who here knows how to read body language. Okay, let's do this. I like to read people for a living. Because you have a hypothesis that you're not testing with smart people.
When I said status, I didn't mean social status.
Yeah, but I'm gonna watch. Are you single?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll show you in a second. It's one of the most horrible. It's one of the most if you're a rich guy, yeah, this is the most terrifying picture any rich guy can ever have. You make not just the Forbes list, but you spend your entire life becoming the richest man in human history. Jeff Bezos was the richest guy for 10 years straight. And then you go to a little party and you have 150 billion net worth. That's $150,000 million. That's a lot of $1 million. And a dude who comes up, who's worth maybe 100 million, just walks up and your girlfriend's all over the news. Like, Jeff Bezos is over here. She's kind of like just staring. Yeah, let's do Jeff Bezos. DiCaprio, Jeff Bezos' girlfriend. DiCaprio, Jeff Bezos' girlfriend. Yeah, go to images. Bickler. Builder. Sorry. This one. No. Here. Poor Jeff Bezos just cuckolded right in front. You got $150,000 million. He's probably worth 100 in real life. And she's like, she's gonna leave with him. So you gotta challenge yourself. I don't think a billionaire, you live in Dubai?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get out of your bubble. The most loved people in the world sometimes aren't even, they're rich, but they're the people who change the world, like Sigmund Freud, he always said he died in the 1930s. He said, I finally got rich and famous and I don't care because I'm about to die, because he had but he changed the world. He invented psychology. Einstein wasn't that rich. So Einstein had a lot of status. In fact, you want the most powerful status? There's a guy who wrote a book. I got to remember the name. I'll try to remember it for tomorrow. He's an expert at raising capital. And he said there's 5 frameworks of persuasion that are powerful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like his name's Oren Klaff. O-R-E-N Klaff. K-L-A-F-F. Anyway, we can do it tomorrow. I'll show you. But he said authority. When you're a billionaire, you're an authority. Okay? But who knows what's the framework more powerful than authority? What's higher? Knowledge. Authenticity. You're warmer. Status, she's the warmest. Freedom. Okay, this is the story he told me. He said, Tai, in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan, you heard of this president of the United States? One of the most famous presidents. The White House, he was an alpha guy. He had been a movie star before. Then he rose from a movie star to the governor of California like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then he became president of the United States. Most powerful man. He had the nuclear codes walking around. He said in the White House, everybody listened. He was kind of mean. So if he had like assistants, he'd be like, where's my water? And like everybody was like scared of him. So one lady came to visit one time, Mother Teresa. Have you ever heard of Mother Teresa? Yeah. She was like a Catholic charity woman who took a vow of poverty, had no money, and just lived on the streets of India helping people who were dying live a better 3 days before they died, hospice. She walked in, the US had cut the funding for her charity. And they said she walked in and Ronald Reagan was in his office and he got up and went to go shake her hand. She said, young man, sit down. And they said the president sat down like a little boy. Moral framework is even more powerful. So if you really want to have status, start a religion. You ever heard of Scientology in America? Tom Cruise, Grant Cardone, Scientology? The founder said, if you really want to get rich, start a religion. You know who else who just said that? The richest man probably in our lifetime is going to be Sam Altman. He's the founder of ChatGPT. He took it from nonprofit to profit. He just wrote, I saw an interesting thing. What changed his life? He said business isn't powerful. He said start a religion. And so what Elon Musk is doing now, he started a religion. What does he act more like on Twitter? Does he talk about the morality of free speech, right or wrong, all the time now? Anybody follow Elon Musk on Twitter, X? All he does now is talk about, I'm going to make the world a better place because there's not free speech. Now he's saying, vote for Donald Trump. He's going down morality. He's making a religion, the religion of Elon Musk. And he's the richest man. He's almost 300 billion net worth. And he just, when SpaceX and those go public, he'd probably be the first $1 trillion modern person. The companies he has, I think he'll be a trillionaire. Who knows who the first trillionaire was in modern history? Last 300 years. Napoleon Bonaparte, estimated 1 trillion. Who beat Napoleon? So there's 2 things you can win. You become a religious leader if you want to get wealthy. There's one other one that's pretty close. He was worth 120 trillion estimated. about 1,000 years ago. Mansa Musa, the African guy was probably worth 100 billion, they say, or less. Genghis Khan. So Napoleon and Genghis Khan had two things in common. They had hordes or battalions or legions. You know what legions is? How do you say that in German? Legion? Okay, that's easy. I saw Elon Musk was talking about, somebody said, how does it feel to be the richest man in the world? And he said, you got to ask Putin. And they said, what? And he said, he quoted Napoleon. He said, you're not wealthy till you control legions. So you have two choices. Start a religion if you really want to be powerful. Because you know what mogging is? M-O-G-G. You get mogged. That picture of Jeff Bezos got mogged. A dude with less money. So the way it goes is you have money. This is for status. Money. Fame is higher than money. If you went to a club and you were on the top of the Forbes, you know Bernard Arnault was at the top of the Forbes list. Last year, he passed Elon. Did you see the video of Bernard Arnault's son trying to get into a club in France? It's the douchiest, funniest thing you'll ever see. He's like, do you know who my dad is? And they're like, nope. So rich doesn't even get you into every club. But if you're Brad Pitt, you get in every club, or DiCaprio. Above that is religious leader, and tied with that is actual own, you have to have a military. The house I live in Beverly Hills used to be owned by the Sultan of Brunei. Do you know who he is? There's a dictator island. It's called the Island of Brunei. He controls the whole thing. By the way, he has a 1,600 car collection. He owns the most Rolls Royce in the world. I think he has 800 Rolls Royce. And the house that I live in was burned down by one of his wives in the 80s who got jealous. So dictators have an army. He has an army. So you need an army. So I think if you really want to be this much status, you're picking like the third lowest way of doing it. You'd be better off to make a YouTube vlog, take $1 million, boost your shit, and trust me, I've been the most Googled person on earth. I'm like, shit, fame can be reverse engineered. And fame's more powerful. Fame is more powerful. Bernard Arnault could walk in a club. If you put DiCaprio in there, 99% of the people are going to just walk by him. So here's my rule about getting wealthy. Get wealthy. Use Carnegie's rule. He said you get wealthy when you're just fucking good at making money. And it just naturally happens. Some people are so naturally good at making money. It's like languages. I have a friend. My friend is so good at languages. I'm not talented at languages at all. Like, I know like 3 languages, kind of. He knows, we went to India. He learned we were there for 2 months. In 2 months, I learned 2 fucking words. I can still remember one. Mimulu Primanu Chuchunadu. That was the one word. He was almost fluent in 2 months. So, but I'm better at business than him. He's been trying to make $10 million for since we both started together in 2002. You know, he's still right now being like, if I could just make $10 million. I should have told him, why don't you just do language, bro? And he likes fame. He likes women liking him. The other thing is, who here is motivated by sex and mating? Be honest. Be honest. Okay, Max, thank you. Yes, thank you. We have 2 honest guys. If Dr. David Buzz, he told me, he's like, Tai, everything's mating. There was a man who married the wife. Remember John F. Kennedy got shot, the president? His wife was Jackie Kennedy. She then married a billionaire from Greece named Onassis was his name. And he used to say, all the money in the world wouldn't matter if there wasn't women. So I thought okay, there's only 2 men here motivated by. If you get rich, no fucking women care except the women you don't want. If you get wealthy. But women like a rich man. If you want to be good with women, this is your best. 1 to 10 million net worth. After that, you just get weirder and weirder girls. Really. Really. All that stuff, you see all this stuff happening in Romania?
I'm Romanian.
Okay. What's happening to a dude who got wealthy who lives in Romania?
Yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
What did I say happens after 10 million net worth? Only the weird women like you. Yeah, I mean, you get weirder and fucking weirder. That's why I tell guys, control your SEO with your name. When people go for years, MrBeast came to visit me years in 2020 or 2019. He texted me in 2017. He's like, Tai, you're my inspiration. On Twitter DMs. I didn't check it for 2 years. I felt bad. I finally am like, oh shit, MrBeast. So I DM him back and he flew up. He's like, I want to meet you. And so he flies up and we were talking. He's famous. Like MrBeast, I think has 250. What is he at? 250 million subscribers. What's his subscriber count right now? Yeah, 3. Frank used to run a lot of his stuff that works with me. So, yeah, 320. You know when he came to me in 2019, he said, Tai, I have 25 million subscribers. When you see me, I promise I'll have 200 million. Is that 320? He said, by the time I'm 26, I'll be. But anyway, so a man, you get richer and richer and richer. The women get weirder and weirder and weirder. Okay? Donald Trump. What's the way he's getting attacked right now as a billionaire? What's in the news today?
The thing with his wife?
Not wife. It was
Oh, the porn star?
a woman. So anyway, MrBeast is at my house. He goes, Tai, is your net worth really just 5 million? Because I was living, my place in New York is almost the nicest place in New York. There's only 4 places in New York that have a 365-degree view. It's on the 64th floor. He comes in there. He's like, I Google you a lot. He's like, are you only worth 5 million on SEO? I'm like, you want to optimize your SEO for 5 million. Trust me, women Google you. Women Google you. Don't let that shit come up at 50 million, 40 million. You get a Russian girl start coming. No offense if anyone here Russian. But the worst of Eastern Europe and the worst of the Middle East will come out. So you need to think through your motivations, because if you're motivated, Max, you're way better off to, once you make 10 million, take every million after that, use it to become fucking famous in the regular way. I know directors and producers in LA. You put $1 million in, they'll put you in their fucking movie. Really. I was in a movie with Snoop Dogg. And that one works better. People are like, I'm in a movie. And I went to the movie premiere. They fucking cut half of me out of it. I was so pissed. I brought 40 of my friends. I'm like, it's called Pop Star. It's a movie called Pop Star. I know Judd Apatow, big director. It was cool. I went on the set. It cost $1 million a day to shoot that movie. They were shooting. There was 400 people there. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm shooting, and I brought 40 of my friends to the movie premiere. I'm gonna be in this big movie. Fucking, they get to my scene, and the camera pans around and fucking stops. I'm like, that's me. I was kind of disappointed. When we walked out, they're like, were you in that movie? I'm like, yeah, didn't you see the hairy arms? Because you could see my fucking hairy arms. But you're way better. If you're the mating-oriented people, $1 billion's gonna crush you, bro. It's gonna destroy you. Who here doesn't care about women or men, for those of you who are women? Or what, am I allowed to even say that? Okay, I don't assume what y'all like. Whoever you like to have sex with. Who here is motivated only by freedom? Raise your hand. Mostly by freedom. Okay, ain't nothing put a shackle on you more than fucking money. Let me tell you, it's funny. On this trip is the first time in 10 years I haven't had an assistant doing all my when I travel. I usually travel like 2 to 4 assistants. So on this trip, British Airlines was like, we have one spot for you to leave, and Itzel and your other team can go on another one. So I got separated from my team. So the last 24 hours is like the first time in 10 years I haven't had assistant. And I'm like, wait a second, money made me less free. Because I remember before I had much money, when I had like, let's say right here, 1 year, one of the best years of my life. I had a Maserati like Ferrari, and I just said, I'm leaving LA for a year, and I just drove all through the US, and I would stop and like fall in love with a girl. I went to Dallas, Texas, fell in love with this girl. She's like, you can move in with me. So I lived with her. Then after a month, I was in love with her. So I moved to another city. It took me a year. And sometimes I look back, that was 2008. I'm like, did being successful give me any more freedom? Probably not. Because The more you have status, then you start going, well, they're expecting me to da-da-da. Sometimes when I fly commercial, I find myself being like, should I post a video of me commercial? Because then there'll be people who follow me and like, oh, Tai, you don't have any money. So there's a lot of shackles. I'm not sure wealth makes you free. Rich, yes. Everybody should try to get rich. 1 to 10, maybe to 20. I'm not sure the benefit. My friend, you know MySpace? Anybody ever heard of MySpace before Facebook? Tom is a friend. He's actually in my 67 steps, which is crazy. He sold MySpace in 2006 to Rupert Murdoch. By the way, when I took off in London, Rupert Murdoch, he was at that. That was, I think, his jet. And Rupert Murdoch paid $500 million for MySpace in 2006 or 7, and Tom got $50 million after tax. He has not fucking worked since 2006, and he's very free dude. He became a photographer, lived in Vietnam, da-da-da-da-da. So the more you make, I don't think it gives you freedom. So you got, who here loves material things? Be honest. This is another one people don't like to raise their hand. Okay, people who love material things, to me, are the ones who should really get rich. And by the way, let me just tell you, I'm gonna tell you an insider secret. I've been in business with 3 guys on the Forbes list, and I have 3 mentors on the Forbes list. These are not Instagram billionaires. These are real fucking billionaire guys. All of them tell you they don't care about money. It's the lie. Don't ever believe it. Elon Musk fucking loves money. Trust me. There's nobody, that's like saying you became a bodybuilder. Who here has the biggest muscles as a dude? Who's a big fucking, Phil, you're pretty big. If you ever meet a fucking dude who has huge muscles, like big bodybuilder, and he's like, yo, I don't really care about my body. I just fucking do this to be in shape. Bullshit, motherfucker. Nobody gets that fucking big and fucking pinning their ass up with testosterone and fucking Anavar. Nobody does that unless you love muscles and you love your physical image. So whenever I see billionaires being like, no, you know, like Steve Jobs fucking love money. There's all this, he did that Harvard talk where he was like, the secret is do what you love. Fuck that. That motherfucker loved money. There's a famous story. A guy, I just saw, there's a dude selling his company, signed deal with Apple. And Steve Jobs walked in the room and he's like, oh, I heard we're buying your company. The guy's like, yeah. And he's like coming to shake Steve Jobs' hand. And Steve Jobs goes, oh, how much did we pay you? And the guy goes, yeah, you're paying $300 million for my company. And he goes, what? Fuck that, I ain't giving you $300 million. He like turned in an instant. And the guy's like, what do you mean? We have a signed deal legally. You signed it. He's like, no. And the guy kept complaining. He goes, would you rather have $300 million or fucking zero? Because I don't give a shit. I ain't wiring the money. And the guy to take $150 million. All billionaires are the most ruthless fucking guys. I did a business deal with a billionaire. We went to war with each other for 1 year. Me and another billionaire against the billionaire. Don't go to war with a billionaire unless you got another one. And you need like, gang, I'm serious. And it took 18 months. And in the deal, we traded assets. That was the deal that I wanted. And we got the deal. No, I've gone to war with these fucking guys. Complete warlord. This is how you know he's a warlord. At the end, we did a trade of assets. And our lawyers have put in the contract that we'll wire him $1 plus exchange assets, okay? Deal gets signed, our lawyer calls up, is like, great. To his lawyer, the deal's done. And just send us an email that says we don't have to send the $1. The fucking billionaire was like, wire me the motherfucking, we had to wire him $1. So those of you who want to be billionaires, for the most part, you got to be a ruthless motherfucker who loves material things. I'm serious. Dude, how many bodies do you think are outside of Vegas in America? That, I'm talking physical hitman that somebody took out to be rich. I would say of the 100 richest people in the world, 20 of them took out a hit on somebody. Even I could see 40. Now, I didn't know that. If you asked me 15 years ago, I'd be like, no, I see their videos, like they're doing it for the good of mankind. And then I meet these guys in real life, do business. No, you don't get huge muscles unless you're ruthless with your body. You know how hard steroids is on your body? It's really bad for your body. A lot of bodybuilders die in their 30s. They're so ruthless on wanting muscles. They're like, okay, deal with the devil. You can have the biggest muscles in your 20s, but you'll be dead at 35. Some dude's like, fuck yeah, ruthless. Ruthless. So you got to know your genes. I would not try to become a billionaire unless A, you fucking love material things. I realized early in, I do not love material things that much. The only thing I really like, I like big houses because I'm social and I like to throw parties and I don't like to have to leave my house. So like the house I have in Beverly Hills is, you guys use square meters? It's 2,500 square meters. So it's big. I have my own swimming pool inside. I've got my own ballroom that holds 300 people. So if I want to do like a party, it's got like sitting down and it's got, yeah, it's 16 bathrooms, 11 bedrooms. So I like that. But on the flip side, I don't give a shit about, who here likes jewelry? That's the ones who should become billionaires. Who here really love, you fucking put a watch on, you're like, fuck yeah, I feel good. This is my $100 Fitbit. Who likes jewelry? Who's wearing jewelry? Yeah, Phil, you might need to try to make a bill. Phil is the Danish guy. My friend here, she's here from Denmark. Phil is not the typical Dane. No jantelon. Janteloven. How do you say it in Danish? No, law of janta. Janteloven. Jantelon. Are you Danish too? Yeah, jantelon. In Denmark, you're not supposed to try to want to get rich. But the rest, a lot of you should just not try to get wealthy. Just do this. And then fucking be like Tom from MySpace. I have a friend, I'll tell you 2 ways I know a guy made a lot of money. He become a photographer or a fucking DJ. You got a friend who become a DJ, this dude got rich and he ain't telling nobody. My friend is like probably the best marketer in the world. I've never met a marketer best. And like 5 years ago, I was like, dude, I became a DJ. Now he's back making money and he's making $1 million a day with funnels. Cold traffic. Hates fucking, by the way, high ticket. It's like, fuck high ticket. Then I got to fulfill on shit. He's like, fuck that. It's like I make all my money on $50 products. He partners with medical doctors, puts their face on landing pages, comes up with a cream, skincare, puts like a doctor who has a Harvard degree who was making, $300,000 US as a doctor. He goes, you want to never work again? I'll give you 1% of the sales of your business and I'll guarantee you at least 30 grand. He just has like hundreds of experts. And he's the greatest copywriter probably to ever live. I've never seen. I'm a pretty good copywriter. When I'm around this dude, I'm like, what the fuck? We used to have copyright. We used to go to like a cafe and be like, pick a subject. We both copyright against it. It's the only guy that makes me look like I just learned marketing yesterday. But for him, he became a DJ. The interesting thing is he thought he didn't love money. So he made 100 mil and then he became a DJ. But then his genes, I told him, I said, bro, you fucking love money. You should try to become a billionaire. I always told him that. It's funny, the people who should become billionaires a lot of times are the ones who don't think they should. Because Carl Jung, who's kind of from Germany, but not exactly German, Swiss, he said when it comes to one's own personality, as a rule, people's judgment is extraordinarily clouded. So I would say one of the things on this weekend, you all should go deeper into your own true psychology. And now with science, there's so much more advanced psychology because of the decoding of the DNA. Like we know now, like height is like 40 to 70 gene in a cluster that determine height. Another thing like IQ, who here has a high IQ? I mean, this group is probably statistically much higher IQ. High IQ also goes closer, so you get wealthier with high IQ, but it also goes closer to the genes for bipolar, manic depressive. So like a lot of dudes, whatever guy you want to get super rich, you should marry a woman who don't care about money as much. Because your kids are gonna pick up a lot of this unhappy gene. Elon Musk said, when I saw an interview 6 months ago, he said, when death comes, I will welcome it. He's been depressed since age 12. He had two hyper, kind of complicated parents. So I would encourage you to use the newest science to really know yourself. And I'm giving you simpler ways versus decoding. The DNA, there's one of my mentors is named Dr. Sharon Molam. He's a geneticist. And he says right now that the DNA is not quite good enough. So you got to use simpler tools. That's why I said a simple tool is ask yourself, I wire you 10 million every time you roll. When do you fucking stop? See, if I was starting from scratch, knowing what I know now, look, if I could be 18 right now, I think I'd tell myself, roll once, then move to Brazil. That 10 million it's an 8 multiplier. So now it's like I got 80. Dude, if you have 10, a lot of countries, the richest young kid in the country is my student. So one of the richest guys, this Kaiki guy, you should have him come speak. Dude, I won't say how much he had, but he was in this category when he was 16. He took my Here in My Garage video, fucking replicated it in Brazil with a Lambo and just stacked up money. By the time he was 17. He was already, bumping into this cat. But he's also in Brazil. If you have 5 million in Brazil, you have 40 million in Dubai. In fact, the expectations are so low in Brazil. I would say having 5 million in Brazil is equal respect as having 100 million. Dubai is all like weirdo inflation. Even though Dubai's not that rich. I always tell people. I had a guy who was like, Dubai, it's like, you should come to, I'm like, I like Dubai, don't get me wrong, but it's not that rich. He's like, fuck yeah, we have a sovereign fund worth 800 billion. I just happened to be flying. I have houses in Scandinavia, and I was flying to Norway. I'm like, Norway has a $1.5 trillion sovereign fund, and it has 5 million people. It's way rich. It's twice as rich as Dubai. So I think that a lot of you have been tricked by even your own conscious mind. And so you have to go below your conscious mind and use unconscious questions. This question I have reveals my unconscious mind. If I was 18, I would definitely tell myself, roll that bitch once, maybe twice, and then move. But you can't move to Dubai because 10 million in Dubai doesn't work right. But 10 million, who lives in Thailand? 10 million in Thailand, who said they were motivated by sex and mating? One, where do you live? And you're in Helsinki. Shit, you all should have made 10 mil and moved to Brazil. You could have 25 wives. No one would give a shit. Do you think you'd be happier with 25 wives?
No, I want to.
Okay. She's here. Yeah. Conscious mind versus unconscious mind. Yeah, this, now at this point in my life when I meet people, I'm like, you're boring me. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm getting bored, talk to you. I'm like, what? And they're like, well, you're just talking to me about your conscious mind. Conscious mind is totally confused. Like I said, you're like, I'm only happy at this. I promise you, if I had a suitcase of 500 million and I said, you got to stop, not only are you going to take that suitcase, you're going to be running out the door, running down that lane by yourself just so I don't change my mind. You would be gone. 500 mil? You'd be sprinting. But your conscious mind tricks you. You're like, no, I only need $1 billion. So one thing I was going to say, use ChatGPT. Who here knows the mathematical amazing number that you get paid per month that makes you happy? Just somebody pick. If you made 1 million a month, who would be happy? On autopilot. Okay, we got one person. Who would be, okay, you can just go to ChatGPT. This is a simple okay, run a Monte Carlo risk simulation. If somebody wants to have guaranteed $1 million a month, how much one-time cash after tax do they need to have to reasonably not run out of money by age? How old are you? 34. He's 34. Run an age calculation, and he's okay. You're okay dying with no money left, right? As long as you got to use it in your lifetime, right? Yeah. So what does he need using a Monte Carlo simulation? Does any of you know what a Monte Carlo simulation is? It's an advanced financial simulation that imagines there's like 10,000 different economies. So if you invested your money, here's one where your money, like the stock market crashes the first day you get the money. And so Monte Carlo allow you to do a risk. It's gonna break ChatGPT. Monte Carlo simulations, that's what the first time I was like still analyzing. It said error analyzing. You almost need like a supercomputer to do this, but I bet you it's gonna come up. Here we go. Oh, it did the Monte Carlo. Boom, success rate, calculations. Boom, 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 boom. So the answer is You need 80 million. And you will never run out of money, and you'll spend, so let's say you got $1 million. And where do you live? What country? Okay, so let's say you meet an Eastern European woman of your dreams, and she's like, please, I don't have any money left. I need No, you could give, how much do you need? Oh, $1 million? Here's $1 million because on the first of the month, you get another $1 million. It'd be a very free life. You only need 80 million to do that. You telling me if you could have $1 million deposited in your bank account on the first of every month, you don't think you'd have status, bro? You know how little money it takes to create status? You walk into a club, you bring all your friends, you go to Vegas, and you go, there's a club in LA. My friend used to run it. They have the biggest bottle. They have to bring it in a truck. It's $65,000. You bring that in the club, people, it's like 2 meters. You could take $1 million, be like, we're gonna go to Vegas. I'm just gonna spend a fucking $1 million. You just walk up to people and be like, here's 10,000, go bet. Here's 10,000, 10,000. You could have a lot of status for $1 million a month. You only need 80 million. Who here is happy with, if you got 100,000 US dollars from today, every month on the first of the month, till the day you die? Who's happy with that? Okay, so that's 1/10 of this. Depends how old you are. Depends if you know how to invest money.
Also, it has nothing to do like with the amount, sometimes how you spend it. That you know how to spend that to make you happy also.
Yeah, but that's the whole point, because what he's saying and what Phil's saying is, Phil, why do you want to be a billionaire? What's the prime? What wouldn't? Okay, I said you should. Well, okay, let me clarify. You said if you would keep rolling the dice past $1 billion, you were like, oh, that means you want to be rich, crazy wealthy. No, I know you don't want. So I'm saying. But you told me you want to have $1 billion because you said you'd keep rolling if you only had $1 billion. That's, by the way, that's me understanding the unconscious version of your mind. If somebody says to me, Tai, you give me $1 billion and I keep rolling the dice, does that mean they want more than $1 billion? Of course. So I'm saying, what is it to you? Whatever the number, what is the prime? Is it the 4 motivations? Material things, mating, movement freedom, or mastery status? Which one? Status, okay. But status with who, male or female?
What?
Status with who, men or women?
Both.
Women don't give a shit about billionaires. That's what I'm saying. So are you sure both? I don't think, what women care about billionaires? All women on earth, not one woman has a poster. You know how women have like posters of sexy guys? Okay, we have women here that are more business women. Do any of you, honestly, not be honest, but tell me if I'm wrong. Do any of you ever scroll through social media and there's like a celebrity, a singer, a this or that actor that you stop and look at them and go, they're nice looking? Or you just stop and pay attention to them? So when Jeff Bezos scrolls, you stop and you're like, fuck yeah. I gotta stare at this bald fucking guy. I doubt it. You know they have, so okay, it's interesting. So you guys both said no. I could put eye tracking software on you. I guarantee you stop when there's good looking celebrity men. I'll take all my net worth, I'll put it in a fucking escrow, and we won't tell them, we'll put eye tracking software on their screen. Jeff Bezos pop up, they're going la la la. Some dude who has less than $10 million, they're just gonna stop and fixate. So I would say, Phil, if you want the respect of men, men do increase if you become wealthier. Men are pretty much straight line, there's no diminishing returns that much. Men respect Elon Musk more than my mentor Tillman Fertitta, who's worth $9 billion. Some of you don't even know who he is. So if your goal is, I always say, if you're gay, you should fucking try to become the richest dude in the world. Really, it's the same with cars. I was like Lambo. I remember I got my first like Lambo Ferrari in 2005. I remember going to the dealer. I was like, fuck, this is gonna change my life. Da 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 da. So I used to own a club in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I get this car, I'm like fucking driving out. I went with my guy friends. They're like, yeah, it's like first Italian car. We drive out of there. It was a Maserati. A year later, I got a Ferrari, Lambo. And I drive out of there. And the next year I got this yellow Ferrari. And I'm driving it in Raleigh, North Carolina. And a girl I know texts me, okay? The day after I bought it. I was at home. She texts me, oh, I see you driving by me. I was like, what the fuck? I said, I'm at home. She goes, no, I see a Ferrari next to me. So I knew who it was. I have a fucking friend. You know what a Saturn is? Yeah. You know what a Saturn is? It's like the cheapest car in America. They're $13,000, okay? He bought a fucking Saturn. And then he bought a Ferrari hood ornament. And it was a Mexican guy. And he's like, bro, women never know. I just tell him he goes, I roll up. So she saw him. He bought a $13,000 car out of fucking Ferrari. So, hey, if you want to impress women, that hood ornament is about $50 on Amazon. But men do get there. I have a neighbor. So like I have a 20-car garage. So you know what he wanted to tell me right away when he came over to my party? He's like, oh, you have a 20-car garage? I have a 43-car garage. Fucking dick contest. You know what I said to him to make him, because I was like, I wasn't even trying to brag. He came in the garage. He's like, how many does this hold? I said, 20. He's like, oh, that's cool. I have a 43-car garage. And I told him, well, that's good. I was like, this house used to be owned by the Sultan of Brunei, and he had 1,600 fucking cars. And then he was like, oh, and he went home all fucking, I only have 43. So if you want to get into a weird pissing match with dudes, I don't know about the status, but if you're a gay guy, does anybody admit they're gay or bi? If you're gay or bi and you're like in your 20s, bro, become a billionaire. If you can get good looking and become a billionaire, because all dudes in earth will track you. But I don't think women do. If you go to the countries with the most beautiful women in the world, what country do you think has the most beautiful women in the world?
Slovenia or something?
Finland, Slovenia, Ukraine.
Has to be Eastern Europe.
By the way, the answer genetically is whatever place had the most dudes like the Vikings. That's usually your answer. By the way, Ukraine is on what part of the continent? Ukraine is on the steppes, right? When the transition between Europe and Asia. Turkey, all that is a gate. Who's a man who came through there? Who came through that whole region? Huh? Genghis Khan.
Yeah, Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan. Conquerors. Which women do you think he took?
All of them.
No. If you're Genghis Khan, you take a city. No, you're picky. You're picky. Then what another man came through that area? What was his name? The Great. Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great came through. Dude, I just read the famous book on the last years of Alexander the Great. He decided, in one city, he decided he would have 365 concubines because there's 365 days in the year. Do you think he was selective who he picked? So wherever in the world you had the most Genghis Khan, and what's another part of the world that had, what does the word, Russian? What does the word R-U-S, Rus, mean? You're from Finland, you should know. The word Rus means Viking, because what happened in Russia and the Ukraine, they had pressure from three places. Genghis Khan came from Mongolia this way, conqueror, taking the most beautiful women with him, putting his sons and daughters in the dominant positions. Mubarak the Bloodthirsty in Morocco, 1,000 years ago, how many wives did he have? 800. He had 800 sons approximately, and he didn't count his daughters. How many people you think are related to that man right now? Yeah, Genghis Khan. My friend from Pakistan is everybody in Pakistan is named Khan.
No, it's not about Khan.
Well, Khan went in, he went into Genghis, they spread. Alexander the Great moved all through there, and the Vikings came through down the Volga? They came down, they would pick up their boats, undo them, and go, and they went through. So Most beautiful people in the world are the places where the conquerors came through. So that's going to be Scandinavia. That's going to be the Baltics, Eastern, that kind of universe. But there's, of course, beauty everywhere in the world. The Brazilians have the same famous thing. Puerto Rico has the most Miss Universes per capita. I think Puerto Rico has 5, and there's only like 1 million people who live there. Who came through Puerto Rico? Christopher Columbus. What were they doing? Were they like every man be very moral and okay, I'm going to have one wife and all that? No. So anyway, the reason, why was I even bringing this up? I lost my train of thought. Oh, well, one thing is, I'm going back to genes. The biggest flaw of the modern world is we don't talk about genes a lot, because pretty much soon, I would say in our lifetime, when you go on a date with somebody, you're going to go like this. Here, lick this real fast. You're going to plug it into your iPhone, and it'll calculate, not only will it calculate thumbs up, thumbs down to date, but it'll be like, well, your children will be 5'11", they'll have an IQ of approximately, you have a 70% chance they'll have 128 IQ, your kid will have addiction problems with heroin. Dude, what percentage of the smartest people on the earth don't believe free will exists? Who are the people that don't believe humans even have free will? The reason I'm talking about rich and wealthy is I'm not even sure there's free will. Those of you, but you can get your destiny wrong. I think your destiny is very genetic. I'm very much, the reason people get it wrong is they only look at their parents. Do not look, remember, your 2 parents are no more related to you than your 8 great-grandparents. You're actually better off to study your 8 great-grandparents because you're too close to your parents. You'll be confused. They live in your same life. And that's only one generation, and generations have moral compasses. Go back, if I look at my great-grandparents, I have a lot in common with them right now. One of my uncles became one of the wealthiest guys in America. He was a coffee trader. They didn't have the internet back then. He was arbitraging. I arbitrage ads since 2001. This dude arbitrages coffee. You guys know who Beethoven, Bach, and Brahms is? Brahms was the third, the German. My great uncle supported Brahms. He was his benefactor, so he didn't have to work. He just gave him money. So I have that, and then I have another side to my family that's like a street smart kid. My dad's from poverty, but he's super street smart. My dad was like a hustler. Some of my haters are like, this motherfucker's a hustler. Look at Ty. He got a Lambo. Like, what the fuck? Some of my black friends, go, Ty, you're basically a white rapper. When I was doing my personal brand, they're like, you're showing yourself on helicopters. And so I'm a weird mix. You got to know what your weird mix is. If you follow your genetic destiny, you by far have the highest chance of reaching it. And every dude I meet has a weird arbitrary number, like I want to have 100 million. No, reverse engineer it mathematically. Be like, my set of genes most likely will be happy at 100,000 monthly cash flow. Therefore, I need to have 20 million in cash. And then you go after it with precision. And that's what, remember I started this conversation by saying you need to have a business plan? I got this water. I'm good. You should plan out your fucking genes. You should go, my name is Bob. I got the highest possibility of making 50 million, but simultaneously, if I make 200 million, I have a high probability of committing suicide. Who commits the most suicide? Men. If you're a man, dude, a lot of rich dudes are depressed. I can tell you. Not necessarily more than the baseline population, but happiness, for example, has been proven to not change with almost anything. You know somebody who gets in a car crash here? Paralyzed from the neck down for life. You can make one bet. In 90 fucking days, 3 months, their baseline happiness when they wake up will be exactly what it was the day before they had the car crash. There's a lot of science on that. Martin Seligman is probably the #1 scientist, Ivy League professor. He's the first one who came out with that study. So a lot of guys are like, well, I'm going to get more freedom. I'm going to feel better. Genes don't work that way. You do not change your baseline. Elon Musk, richest man in the world. Every one of you should watch that video 6 months ago. It's a interviewer, and she's like, are you going to use anti-aging to like, you're the richest man in the world. Are you going to try all this stuff and live longer? And he said, no, because when death comes, I will welcome it. He's basically saying, I want to be dead in 20 years. He got the richest man in the world. He has a lot of fucking status. His choice on women is suspect. I mean, he fucking dated Amber Heard. You all know who Amber Heard is? She's the one who went to the bathroom on Johnny Depp's bed. So I don't think it works that way. You should try to get rich if you're the fucking genetic descendant of like a Rockefeller, a Vanderbilt. These guys were built for money. And sometimes like my friend that I told you wants to be wealthy, he's horrible at making money. I sold him a company of mine that had made me money every single day from 2002 to 2008. I had told him, he was a business partner who owned like 5% of it. And I told him, if you work for me faithfully, when I moved from North Carolina to California, I'll sell you the business. So I sold him the business in 2008. By 2009, he was fucking broke. The business stopped. He made money for 6 months and couldn't do it. I don't think he has the genes for making money. And I think there's dudes in here that have the genes to make 20 mil. And I don't think you should listen to the advice of people nowadays. I don't think what men are being told is so non-scientific. It's part of the reason I came back with my personal brand. I like to debate, and I was like, fuck, guys are being told in their 20s, you know, just fucking. I just saw a post that's going viral now. It's like, you should divorce. Every man to get wealthy has to get rid of his girlfriend, go lock himself in a room and make money. There's no evidence of that. All the 10 wealthiest men in the world had their kids in their 20s and were married. It's like 9 of the 10 richest men in the world did the opposite of that advice. So all the advice, but that advice affects us all, man. Who here doesn't think they're affected by the algorithm? Everybody is. I even see Elon Musk. To me, Elon Musk is less smart now because he fucking spends all day on Twitter X. I've noticed. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy says lower and lower IQ stuff. The algorithm is so powerful, it's taking one of the most intelligent men and fucking dumbing him down. So go deep on your genes. Let me answer 3 questions, and then I want to talk more about this. I have like a structure to talk about tomorrow, but I wanted to introduce you because I don't see one person online telling dudes this. And women, this applies to you. So don't think I'm only talking to guys. It's just, I only know what it's like to be a guy. So it's, I don't want to presume women have a different world a little bit. But does anybody have any questions on this or anything? I'll take maybe 3 questions. I know Germans are always super shy, but ask me anything. And I'll bring you guys some really good books tomorrow. Robert Trivers, you should read his book called The Folly of Fools. He's probably the most respected scientist who's still alive. There's like Robert Trivers. He's the founder of the biology department of Harvard. He's called the father of modern biology. And then there's like Dr. Buss, who's one of my mentors. Guys like Jordan Peterson and stuff. Who here likes Jordan Peterson? As scientists, Jordan Peterson looks up a lot to Dr. David Buss. He said Dr. David Buss has been published 100 times more. But one thing, remember this, the people who know the most are usually not good at all on social media. So don't get your science from social media, because the best scientists on earth don't even have an Instagram account. Nicholas, you always have a question. Nicholas, go ahead, Phil.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm driven by status and fame, and then I've been studying you on social media a lot. I've been studying Grant Cardone
Yes.
on social media a lot. And my question to you is, what made you grow extremely fast on social media? What I've seen Grant Cardone did like 2 years ago, he gave away $1 million, and then
Yes.
he went live every day.
Yes.
And then he just every live he gave away, tag 2 friends and share this thing, and
Yes.
live, and then I can say he won $100.
Yes.
So then he gave away the $1 million. Have you done this kind of same thing that made you also spike?
You mean
on the
giveaways?
platforms?
You mean giveaways?
Yes. That would, my question is, what is the one thing or 2 things that made you really spike really fast?
Everybody who does giveaways learn from me. I was the king of giveaways. That's what I'm saying. MrBeast took it to a further level. Grant Cardone came to me when he started and was like, Tai, what are you doing? Giveaways work, but I would say this. What makes good chicken soup? Is it just chicken? Is it just water? Is it just salt? But you eat. If I bring you chicken soup, it just has a chicken in water in it, and I have 2 ingredients, you'd be like, fuck, this is horrible soup. So when you see guys like Grant Cardone is a very sharp guy. By the way, I know Grant very well. Grant is way more humble than you think. Grant has the cockiest outside personality, but of all the people who came to me when they were starting out, 2015, said, Tai, what should I do? Grant listened the most, even though he was the wealthiest of all of them. So Grant, I'll tell you, Grant's superpower is not what people think. Grant is a no pride absorption machine. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, Grant, you have my fucking exact website up. He's like, I know, that shit converts. He'll do your exact website. No, great artist copy, a good artist copy, great artist steal. That's what Pablo Picasso said. So my friend that's making $1 million a day, what he does, he has a team of about 14 people that look at every offer on every affiliate network. They scour, and now they're using AI to scrape the entire internet for like high Google Analytics, like long site time on site. And whatever offer's winning, he mimics it exactly. If you really want to get rich, you should clone what other people do. It's the quickest way to get. Yes. So I'll give you an example. YouTube videos, I had a friend who had, he had an abs, how to get abs. His name was Mike Chang. Does anybody remember Mike Chang? Okay, I saw this fucking guy, and he was doing 6-pack shortcuts, and I saw his ads popping up. So then I was like, let me go visit this guy. And I went to he had a seminar, a skiing seminar. And then I was like, he goes, oh, the secret is YouTube ads. It's new. Within 2 months, I was the king of YouTube ads. So you got to go socialize and fucking find what people are doing. And that's how I grew super fast there. I did the same thing with Facebook ads. When Facebook ads started, I was doing Facebook ads in 2008. It was like beta program. A guy was like, hey, I was at a dinner. He's like, what's working? Facebook ads. I absorbed that. Within 2 weeks, I was running Facebook ads. First day I ran Facebook ads, there was no targeting, by the way, on Facebook. There was no videos. I put an image ad up. I went on a date with a girl to have sushi. It spent $6,000 and I made $23,000 back in 3 hours. You could make 17 grand because there was no one doing it. So I would say I've always caught trends very quick and very early. SMMA was a big thing. I knew a guy who had a small course teaching you social media marketing. Then I launched in 2016 and I did 100x because I was a better marketer. So here's my short answer is find things that people are doing. 2 steps. Find amazing products of others that suck at marketing. Okay? For those of you who are like, fuck everything Tai said, I just want to get wealthy. Okay, here's my no more of this talk. Super wealth formula right here. Then number 2, do better marketing for that thing. Relaunch it as your own product. By the way, some of you be like, Tai, is that fucking ethical to go out and steal people's shit? What did I tell you about fucking billionaires? There ain't no ethical billionaire I've ever met. These motherfuckers are out here stomping on people's heads. By the way, Genghis Khan, he lived in a shitty part of the world in Mongolia. It's the Gobi goddamn desert. Nothing grows, What did he do? Try to fix the Gobi desert? He goes, where are fucking people living in very rich, fertile land that suck ass at fighting? We'll go with our fucking horses and slaughter these motherfuckers and take over their land. He went to the most fertile parts. He went to the Ukraine. He went to the Eastern European plains. He didn't quite make it all the way past Hungary, but he went to every fertile place. So wealthy dudes who conquer take other people's fertile ideas and just do it more powerfully. In the modern world, I don't recommend you kill people, but doing better marketing. Do you know how many people right now have good products that I see on Instagram? You know what I look for? An insanely good Instagram ad. You ever seen like an Instagram ad that has like 50,000 likes and like 110 million. Don't copy that guy, because that guy is good at what he does. But have you ever seen a good ad? I saw a good ad the other day. I forget what he was selling. Some male baldness shampoo. And the ad was so good. And then I looked and it was like 3 comments. Open that business tomorrow. By the way, with AI, there's about to be a few people who become the wealthiest people on earth. I don't know if you saw this news. This 8-year-old replicated a well-known video game overnight with AI. Soon I'm gonna be able to see what do you sell?
Copywriting coaching.
Okay, copywriting coaching. Soon if I come across your ad, let's say I wanted to be ruthless, okay? I come across your ad, I'll go to sleep like this with my phone next, I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll go, what's your domain name, by the way?
Again?
Your domain name.
Cellivate.de. Cellivate.
Cellivate. I'll go, I saw this cool cellivate.com. Can you browse the entire course, hack the members area, go in, pull, replicate it, change it 30% so I won't get in trouble with trademark, and build it for me by the time I sleep. That shit will be up and going. Also pull down every ad he's ever done, rip it, put my face on it with AI, and it's, you think I'm joking? You know there might be quantum computers in 5 years. You know this first computer that got put out by Google has the first, it's almost a quantum computer. Did you see it can do something that takes 1,000 years for our supercomputers? It did it in 15 minutes, a math problem. When quantum computers comes with AI, I'm not even sure. I just think there'll be a few dudes who are so ahead of the curve on adoption of AI, there'll be concentration of wealth. So, right now, amazing products where they suck at marketing, make your own version of it, and call me in 2 years. You might be on the Forbes list. I did a version of that. Okay, 2 more questions. You always have one. Yes?
How I find the amazing product when the marketing sucks. Maybe I.
Who here doom scrolls on social media? Come on now. Everybody's hand, please go up. Let me see your screen time. Do you have your iPhone?
Yeah.
Can I see real quick? You hardly raise your hand. You're like, I don't doom scroll. Let me see. You want to be scared of this world where you meet one of your employees and they're like, oh, I'm working hard. You're like, oh, really? How many hours a day you work for me? Oh, 10. Can I see your screen time? Oh, wait, you have 16 hours of screen time? That's not possible. You ain't working for me. Let's see.
5 hours.
Yeah, but yours is in damn German. Pull which app it is.
Yeah, of course, Instagram.
Okay, but let me see. There's one that you press that shows which apps. Because you said you don't doom scroll. I want to see how many minutes you spend on Instagram. Click into those till you find the one that breaks it down. Yeah. You said, how do you find the products? Don't doom scroll. Look for products on Instagram. My algorithm, just start tapping on every ad, liking every ad. They'll start showing up more and more. There's this guy who has this exotic hacks car thing. I got on his retargeting. It's a good product. The guy's horrible at marketing.
Great.
Huh?
Great channel. I like it.
You know Exotic Car Hacks? Dude, his ads get like 1 view. He'd probably making $1 million a month teaching you how to start your own car rental company. If you took that and did better marketing, you'd be making $1 million a month in a couple months. Did it show Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram 4 hours, YouTube 4 hours.
Okay, I asked you, do you doom scroll? You're like, no. And then you have 4 hours and 10 minutes on Instagram.
Yeah, but I think the ads
The what?
which I see is from good marketing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but don't spend 4 hours. What I do, I try to set a timer for 20 minutes, scroll through, watch this. Instead of one more question, I'm gonna wrap up after this. I'll show you, I'll find a product right now. Who wants $1 million a month idea? Let me go in here. Just go to the fucking algo. Let me put in TikTok shops. Let me see what shows up. Did you see that AI just got added to Insta? Do you guys have that new rollout? Dude, it's pretty interesting. I'll tell you this, watch Mark Zuckerberg. This dude is slow, but the smartest entrepreneur who never has made a mistake is probably Mark Zuckerberg. What mistake did Mark Zuckerberg make? There's no human who's ever been worth 100 billion by age 36 except Mark Zuckerberg in modern history. So TikTok shops, I'm gonna go to Reels. I bet you in
If you sell,
two.
if you
Okay.
sell any product, you need to be hopping on TikTok Shop.
Only 16 likes. This guy sucks at marketing.
Spend millions on YouTube. We spend millions on Google. We spend millions on Facebook.
Sucks.
These are so good.
You know,
This ad has 9 fucking likes on it.
The first thing you should focus on when launching your brand.
29 likes. TikTok Shops is crushing and nobody can hack it. The main thing I want to talk about tomorrow is the science of becoming the best marketer in the world, because there's only 2 things that'll make you a billionaire. One is an insanely good product and insanely good marketing. And the bar is very high now for who, like I said, my friend Ryan is probably the best marketer in the world that I know. He's so fucking good that if he came in here and did copywriting, he's like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu red belt. Like, he's unbeatable. So if you want to go nuts, if you want to be a billionaire, you got to have an insanely good product. If you only want to make 100 million, you don't even need to be good at products. How good's your marketing? What's your ad? What's your domain?
Right now, we make all about Instagram.
No, but what's the domain? Cellevate.de/. Is it all in German?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Let's see. Wait, is that how you spell it? Cellevate?
Yeah.
Be very careful with weird domain names, because when people tell their friend about it, it gets misspelled. By the way, is Cellevate a very German word?
No.
Elevate your selling?
Yeah.
That's what it means, right? If I was in German, what's a better German name for that? By the way, marketing lesson, crazy congruency. You have an American name with a German headline. Too long of a headline. I do not like that long. Sobaus, du dir ein Ortsenbehangiges. What is that?
Yeah, you can work from all over the world.
Unprofitables, how do you say that word in German? Profitables. Standbein als Verbetexter auf keinerlei Erfahrung notwendig. What does that mean again?
No experience necessary.
See, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Tomorrow I'll try to, don't put things like that in the headline. Headline has to be you know how fishing works? You throw a hook in. Who here fishes? What happens if the hook barely catches the mouth and you pull? It just pulls out. This headline, you're already telling them without much experience, say something. I'll talk about this tomorrow. You know what? I have a new product out, and a headline that did very well is this. You know, last year, Instagram launched a feature that's the best money-making hack. You go up here, you click on this thing, and you're allowed to have 11 Instagrams, 1 personal and 8 other ones. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 6. Each of these should be making you $1,000 fucking a day. Watch this presentation. I'll show you about this little feature up here. That's better marketing. I don't need to say if you have you know what I tell a lot of people? 2003 called and they want their marketing back. Those hooks used to work in 2003. So the reason I'm saying this to you, I want to challenge you. You want to make a lot of money, you got to go. A lot of you should be spending like 8 hours a day just studying psychology and marketing. Elon Musk is one of the best marketers in the world. He's very tricky. The trickiest dude I know is Elon Musk. He's like a puppet master. He goes, oh, you know, I'm just doing this for the good of humanity, da, da, da. And then all the world is like, oh, we like this guy. And it's a puppet master. He's like, meanwhile, he's out here. You think you can make $250 billion without being ruthless? PayPal Mafia, there's 23 dudes in the PayPal Mafia. How many of them are his mortal enemies now? Lots. They hate each other. So he's not anyway, he's such a good marketer and good product guy. You can make 100 million with nothing, knowing not how to make products. Just take other people's products, tweak them 20% and market them better. If you want to make $1 billion, that's where it gets hard. You have to be able to make like an iPhone that's really good quality. And Steve Jobs is considered what? The greatest marketer of all time. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question now. So
yeah.
what feels like today like Facebook ads in 2008
What feels like Facebook ads in 2008?
or YouTube in 2016?
So I would just say, there's nothing new under the sun that excites me that much. It's just becoming so good at marketing. So I'll give you an example. When I write it, most people, you teach VSLs how to write video sales letters. Okay, most people are using like the 2006. I wrote my first VSL in 2001. So their version of a VSL, there we would take people through a journey. Like, oh, here's this and here's that. And let me tell you, if you throw 3 testimonials in this formula. No. Now, to be a red belt in marketing, every sentence needs to be dopamine catching and hook people, because people don't watch the same way. Do you think people's brains are the same as they all were in 2002? Right now, 5 years ago, scientists found the average human was at 1 second shorter attention span than goldfish. Goldfish are 6 seconds, humans are 5. That was 5 years ago. What do you think it is right now?
3, 2, 1.
Who here sometimes scrolls past a fucking reel in under a second? Me. That shit don't hook me. So I think what works now is being so good at the fundamentals. And what I'm going to go through tomorrow, there's 39 I used to teach the 25 biases, cognitive bias. I think there's 14 more now. So there's 39 ways of hooking people. And what happens I just wrote a 45-minute VSL that converts the first time I recorded it. Every sentence is it's like a punch. Pow. In the past, you could pow at the beginning of an ad. Then you could fucking talk about, so let me share my journey. And so I started about 20 years. Now people they're already scrolled past you. So I'll give you an example of old school copywriting that I used to do. I'd be like, let's say I was selling a copywriting course, and I was like, here's how you make $20,000 to $40,000 a month working from your house. And now listen, I started out at the bottom. I was born to a single mom, and I lived in a mobile home, and I remember having only $47 in my bank account. That used to work 10 years ago, what I just said. Won't work anymore. What I have to say now is something like this. Let me just think. Copywriter. The pen's mightier than the sword. There's one fucking thing more powerful than $1 billion. If you know how to write, you will control men like they're puppets, and women will flock to you. Fuck everything you heard about money is all bullshit. Don't you realize the money's controlled by the world's been controlled by writers? There was a man smarter than Einstein, but he didn't write a book like Einstein wrote a book called The General Theory of Relativity. Nikola Tesla from Serbia was the fucking man, but he sucked ass at writing, so nobody knew who he was, so he died poor and alone and without one friend. I'll teach you how to write and conquer the world, my friend. Motherfuckers are like, whoop, yep. That other one used to work in 2002 where people had attention span. Now, and you got to do that for 45 fucking minutes. Every 2 seconds, you got to hit them again. So what I do now, this is a practical thing. You keep a Word doc on your phone. Okay, I'll show you. You can see my doc. Here's 6 VSLs I'm writing. Global Wealth, PBIA, Advisor Partner, Buy a Company. I have 6. Every time I think of like the most powerful sentence in the world, I stick that in one of the VSLs. And after like a month, I'll have a VSL that's just powerful sentence after powerful sentence. It never stops. And then I can get people to watch a 45-minute VSL. 10 years ago, if I put those VSLs up now, they won't fucking convert. People will just scroll, especially with Instagram ads. Maybe with YouTube ads, they'll watch. I've been talking to Maxes in my private client program, and that's one of the things like, dude, you better come stomp it. The bar is getting so high. Soon it's going to be like, you're going to have to AI generate all your shit. Soon you won't even be like, if you're selling, you know how like beer uses beautiful women? Soon what's beautiful will end up being AI women that aren't even real women, that have literally no defect. It's probably not even good for civilization, but the bar will just go until mankind blows itself off the planet, which could, you guys know what the doom scale is? The doom scale is the smartest scientists in the world, the percentage odds they give that we'll all be dead in 10 years. Elon Musk is a 20 on the doom scale. The founders of Google are a 60. By the way, that was good copywriting, what I just said to you. Every single person who wasn't paying attention looked up their phone, doom scale. That's a. Who's ever heard of the doom scale before? Who thought it was a novel, new idea, just now you should pay attention to, that you haven't heard, but it's easy to understand? Who thought that's an important thing you might want to know? See, I can always tell when I practice copyright. Part of the reason I do long talks is I practice my copywriting on you. I'm like, okay, when I said that, half the room started going here. But anyway, doom scale, throw that in your VSL. So you're selling copywriting, you need to put something interesting in that bitch. I'd put in, you got your PR thing, I'd put this shit in my PR software. Raul, I'd put on my video landing page, I'd be like, and by the way, you probably aren't gonna use this and you're gonna slowly build your business using other PR. Just remember that out of the smartest people in the world, about half of them say we got 5 more years on this planet. So you better get famous right now and you better do everything you wanna do right now because real heavy hitters. The guy who's considered the father of AI gives it a 99.9% chance on the doom scale that we won't even be here in 20 years. AI will have made us extinct. By the way, see, that seems weird to put in a VSL if I was selling a course, but it's not because it keeps people watching. And so I'll talk about this tomorrow. Thank you all. I'm gonna try to get some sleep and appreciate you all. Hopefully I didn't offend too many people.
Maybe.
You're tough.
Just the Russians.
Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing against Russians. Are you?